The DNA Tech team is super excited to show you our new API. So what we've done is we've completely reinvented our tech stack, and we've made everything faster and much more scalable. So we'll be able to give you many, many more insights above and beyond what you've used in the past. Right now, we've set up a dev portal that has all of the APIs that you've used in the past, and this will be the launching pad for us to scale and add many, many more as we grow. So this is your first kind of intro to the new dev portal and a walkthrough of everything that's DNA API. So what we're going to do in this call is give you a walkthrough of the dev portal, cover subscription keys, everything you need to know about keys, how do you get them, how to test APIs. I'll give you a demo of that 2 ways, in the dev portal itself, and then also in Postman, and we'll talk a little bit about all the different Postman settings that we have in the next phase. And then we'll circle back at the end of the call and then cover where you can find the FAQ area in our dev portal. So without further ado, we'll give you an overview of the DNA dev portal here. So it's a full kind of library of dev resources for you. So this will serve as the main access to the DNA system for developers. There is reporting on usage and issues and tracking, and also you can get some simple reporting that you can use for accounting there. You can see the full list of APIs, which is available. We can assign you different subscription packages even as we grow the different API libraries, and as you scale, we have some pretty exciting things planned as far as unlocking new resources and options available for you. You can test out APIs. You can also see changes in a change log that we have available. For the start, you're really just getting version 1 of everything, but as we grow and add more resources, you'll see versioning and revision information. And there's also a pretty cool FAQ area that our team is quickly adding more and more resources to. So we'll go over that at the end. Now, to get started, you're going to need to go to the link here on the screen. Many of you are probably watching this just in a video form. So to make this easy, we've created that tiny URL, but both links do go to the same spot. You're going to go to this page and you're going to see the home page that's on the right. For you, it might look slightly different because our marketing team is upgrading the look and feel of the dev portal as we speak, but it should look something, loosely like what we have here. And if you click on that gold button, sign in or sign up, you'll have the option of creating completely new credentials that are specific to the dev portal, or you can choose the identity provider of your choice. We have partnered with Microsoft, Google, Facebook, and LinkedIn for this. So you can choose which inroad you want to use. And we do recommend that you kind of keep track of which source and which identity provider you're using. Our team does have the ability to see that on the back end, but it's not really apparent to you on the screen. So that's just something to keep up with. Also, if your firm has any corporate security requirements for you using different identities from social accounts or anything like that, just be mindful for what account your firm does allow. So for instance, if your firm only allows you to use your Microsoft Work ID, definitely choose that Microsoft option and not your Facebook, vice versa. So do reference your corporate security for that. So once you've created an account, let us know. So we have the ability of configuring your API portal so it's specific to you, and we will do that. But we need you to kind of email us so that we can get that case opened and start to work on it. So create your account and send us an email at the email below, support@dnabehavior.com. We will assign you to the specific subscription, and then you're going to receive a welcome email. Now that welcome email, we're working on some of the language and adding some more pages in there, so it's pretty simple right now, but that welcome email will serve as your official welcome to the system once you've signed up, and you'll be able to gain access. Now, next you will need to get your subscription keys and then verify that they're there. So this is the main way that you'll kind of know that your account has been fully set up. When you create an account, you'll be able to log in, you'll be able to see the tabs, but you won't have a subscription key yet assigned to you until our team accepts you into the program and assigns you a key. So just keep mind of that. And the way to get the keys is you go to the profile page, and then you can see the subscription details that you signed up for, and also get a primary and secondary key. In order to get the actual keys, you can just hit the show button. So we have this slide to kind of explain everything about the keys because it's slightly different than what we've done in the past. But our initial feedback is it's way more robust and scalable, and it gives our firms our partners a lot more control over the keys. So the first point here is that the DNA API will accept keys and not tokens. So the new way that the DNA API will operate is it will work specifically off of keys and not the old token system. So these keys you can regenerate on your own. So you can generate them on your own policies, which is really awesome for system security and also scalability, given that you have two. So the keys are yours or under your control. You completely control your own keys. The keys are found on your profile page, as I've mentioned before, in the developer portal. The keys are issued per developer, not per team. So if you have multiple developers that are in the sandbox, you need to make sure that one is designated as kind of the quote unquote owner of the key, and then that's the main admin for the keys that you're using. You are issued with a primary and secondary key. There's a bunch of benefits of doing this. We've accepted, Microsoft's standard recommended best practices for the keys and the issuing them. So Microsoft is the one that recommended that we do this through the Microsoft Technology Center. And the reason why we're issuing two keys is because you can do a lot of various things with the two keys with your own security requirements or your own business processes. So to give you a few examples, if you would like to build an app that has the ability of sending both the primary and the secondary key, that would work if you wanted to be able to generate the keys and not create downtime for your app. If you have multiple apps that are using the DNA API, you can use, the primary key for one and the secondary key for the other. That's another option. There's a bunch of different ways that you can use it, so it's pretty flexible, and it's how a lot of the other Microsoft tools work, and it works quite well. You can generate your keys at any time in your own developer portal by clicking on that regenerate button that you probably saw when I was showing my screen. Now, there's two ways to test out the DNA API. You can use the try it button that's in the dev portal, and I'll show you how that works, or you can use Postman. So I'm going to give you a review of both of these, and without further ado, we'll start at the dev portal. I'm going to open up my screen here. I'm now jumping to Chrome. So this is the dev portal homepage. Once you're signed in and authenticated, you will see more tabs. I'll start out on the profile page, and you can see my keys here, primary and secondary. If you're wanting to try out the APIs in the portal itself, you don't need to reference the keys. That's not really necessary. So let's say I wanted to try out a few APIs. I'm going to click on the API page, and then you're going to click on Public API. And the Public API has been preceded with our API calls that are currently available in the DNA API that's available in production. So you're not going to see any more insights or APIs right now in the library. Those will be added in the coming months. And right now it's really a one-for-one. And I'll start kind of simple with this and go on. So I'm going to first start with the get unique style and description. So this opens up here. Now, one little tip I have for you is we're going to click that try it out button in a moment, but the try it out only has templated information that's available for you to set parameters and do authentication. I found when using this, it's easiest to have the FAQ open on a new tab, because at the bottom of the FAQ, our team has made sample keys available, or sample IDs for participants and other IDs you might want to use for the calls in this portal. You don't have to do that in Postman. We've made it a little bit more streamlined, but that's just one little tip we have for if you do want to use this try it out function. So I'm going to open up the try it out menu. You'll see here under authorization, the first option, it has a subscription key. So if I wanted to try out my primary, this is default. I could also just try out my secondary. So you don't need to copy and paste those keys into this page. It just is automatically absorbed into this panel. Next, the parameter is person ID. So I'm going to go to the FAQ tab that I have open, and I'm going to copy that first one. The language ID, this is available in the FAQ, but for US English, it's 22. And I just know that by heart, and I'm going to click send. And you can see that here's some resources or some data available. So this particular client is an adapter. It gives me the description and also the behavioral type ID if you're using that in your application. So those are the available insights for that. Now, if I wanted to go to Business DNA 5 scores, which is a pretty common API, I'm going to click on paste in that same person ID, do a language ID of 22, and let's try that one out. You can see that these are the details and the data available for the Business DNA API. I can do the same thing for the Financial DNA 5 scores. This one's pretty common. And any of the other ones are available. So play around with this and let us know if you have questions. Now, the next one that we're going to go through is how to do this in Postman. So we're going to start out pretty simple and go to, I will start with the get unique style and description. You'll see in here that in my account, I have many different APIs. They're organized in folders. And then you'll also notice here, if you're familiar with Postman, that I have environment details that are preset for this build. Now, we have exported all this information, so it's available for you to use. So if you go to the FAQ, and then you go to the top where it says, do you have Postman files I can import? And we do. We have a collection file and an environment file. Those are hosted on our box.com, our corporate box.com, and we've just made a publicly available link. If your company cannot access box.com, which some of our clients can't because of your network security rules, send us an email and we'll figure out a way to send you this. We've had some issues sending JSON files and emails because it gets blocked by corporate spam rules and all the email stuff that gets added. But we'll figure out a way to get you these files. Here we have, you'll notice under keys, we have just put in the static text where it says retrieve from dev portal profile. So that is the same process that I've showed you before. So you're literally just going to copy and paste the details into there, and I'll show you how to do that on Postman. So for your first time using this, you're going to need to add your keys. So you're going to click on the edit button, and then you're going to paste over the existing values for primary and secondary, both in the initial value column and the current value column. And you're going to get that information from your profile page. There. One thing that we've noticed as we're watching people use this is that sometimes they, add an extra space or an extra line. So just make sure that you don't add any extra characters and everything should be good to go. Now I'm going to go to the get unique style and description. And that is, you can see that it's providing a similar output as what we had in the dev portal walkthrough. The next one that we did was the Business DNA 5 scores. That's here. As you can see, I have a list that has different folders here now. We have different classes of DNA API. So if you are in one of the categories of our users that are limited in which APIs you can use by brand or by category, we've created different groups in here so you can see what's included in which one. So that should be a little bit easier for you to leverage. All the APIs that you're used to seeing, like career data, hiring, get assessment results, performance guide, risk as a financial DNA insight, get market mood. Those are all available. Now, get PDF. When you get the response, currently, you're going to be given a link. Now, this is not the way that it's going to work in the live system. The live system is going to be very similar to our current API where the file is actually sent. We're just in the process of upgrading that. But for the time being, it is only it's a blob link so that you can access the file. A lot of firms like to reference how things look in the report, so we wanted to make sure this was available, even though the report download function is not currently available through our API, but it will be. The next thing that I wanted to discuss is submit answers. Now, this is one thing that is different from the old API to the new API. The old API, our partners could create their own person ID. So a person ID looks like this. It's the same format that was in the old system. So it's the same GUID format that we previously had. The thing that's changed is that DNA is going to be issuing the person IDs going forward, not our partners. The reason why we're doing that is in our new system, participants don't have to take the profile multiple times if they're working with more than one partner. If they've completed a questionnaire before, they have the ability of sharing that record with the new partner, and that's something that we're going to be releasing soon to the API. They're going to have the ability to do that rather than having to retake the questionnaire and creating a bunch of extra profiles and things like that. So our new system is much more streamlined, but in order for us to get to that point, DNA wants to control all the IDs so that we know we can keep track of very easily who is who in our system and manage that whole profile. So the sequence is going to be slightly different with this API. The only thing that's different, though, is that the firm is not providing the person ID as the parameter. DNA responds with the parameter or with the person ID. So you can see here, our response is different for the submit answers API, where you'll get a 200, and then it will just list out, it will have the result, which is answer saved successfully, and it will show you the new person ID here. So that is one of the fundamental differences, but it's just a small little change. If you are used to using the DNA API, it's a very small change. Now I'm going to show you a few different things with Postman if you're not familiar with it and how we've set it up, because you can manage all these different environments differently. So I'm going to make a call on a different person here. So I'm going to go to get unique style and description. If you can see here in the URL, I have person ID as the parameter. If you hover over it, you can see which person ID it's actually calling. It starts with a 5. Now we have preceded this information with more than one person ID. So let's say we wanted to make a call on person ID 2 rather than 1. Because we've set this up so it's pretty flexible, I can just change it to 2, make the call, and then you're now seeing it with a different person. I'll hover over it so you can see the person ID change from the first character, what used to be a 5, now it's C. So if you want to play around with this with different different persons, you can, and we have preceded it so that you can do so. So if you have any questions on Postman or any feedback, please let us know. Now I'm going to show you where to provide feedback. So in the future, we're going to have a feedback button that's going to be in the top menu. That's not available yet. So if you have a question over email and you want to get in touch with us, you can do that by contacting support@dnabehavior.com and create a ticket and just let our team know that you're working on the sandbox build and that you have some feedback for us. And if you know any of the DNA team members personally or have their emails, you can email any number of us and we can make sure that you get a response. So I hope that this was helpful. If you do have any questions though, please let us know and we will be in touch with any next steps and everything new that's going to be coming. Thank you.